I'm Anna.
I'm Ben.
We're AutoSave. Welcome to our channel.
Today we're watching Mushoku Tensei, Season 2, Episode 13, Part 2. We've been waiting. I'm excited. I've been very excited for this day since we found out that Mushoku Tensei was coming back.
I'm also excited.
I mean, like, where we left off. Are you kidding me? Like, just the whole entire Rudy-Sylphie marriage element being put on the table. Princess Ariel being like, yeah, I'm gonna need your support, but I'm not gonna utilize it until after you're done doing what you need to do and trying to seek out your family and find them after the massive teleportation. What does that mean? Does that mean that we're going to potentially endanger Sylphie by bringing Sylphie along? But obviously, Sylphie can handle herself, and she gets to embrace her femininity now.
Everything's perfect. Ariel's such a real one. I actually, like, if we do depart in this, like, next episode and this next half of this season, I will miss Ariel. I really do like that character, especially, like, her relationship with Sylphie and kind of, like, how much of a real one she is. Like, not only is she trying to kind of, in a meddlesome way, put Sylphie's interests first, but she's also, like, super respectful of other people that she's asking things of, while also still trying to get what she desires in the long run.
What will Nanahoshi's involvement within the series now bring for this season? If anything, hopefully we just set out on an adventure, maybe run into some Sarahs or a Ginger York a couple times.
I don't want to run into a Sarah with Sylphie. We don't want to run into a Sarah.
I don't know. You ready?
Yeah.
Sweet. Do you think we're going to get another intro?
I hope so.
I know that was a weird thing for us in Season 2, but it was so good.
Oh, a patch over where the blood was.
Yeah. Oh my god. I cannot tell you how comforting I feel to be back within this world. He's glowing. Cliff. Well,
I'm getting married. Oh.
Sicker than you realize. Oh my god.
Finally feel human again.
Oh my god. That brings me to my second announcement. Nanahoshi.
She's a little busy.
It's not Orsted, right?
Oh, one of the boys.
Wow.
I like that Sylphie still has on the cloak. That, you know, I think it's cute.
Great question.
Well, if it's anything like our world. Ask Body or something. No, I bet it doesn't.
What can we afford?
It needs to be a place that a princess can visit. Yeah, I agree.
It's a thoughtful way of going about it.
Yes. Just time together, remember?
What piqued your interest?
God, we're taking the boys with us on house hunting? Oh, no, maybe we're getting money? Are we house hunting or?
No, this is house hunting with the boys. Need to tidy it up. Oh. Oh god.
Oh, we brought the boys to get rid of the curse. That's what it is. I love it. Married life here is gonna be both Sylphie's family and Rudy's family, just all living here.
God, that's strength.
I forgot how trustworthy Zenobo would be in a battle.
He'd do anything for his master. Elementary divine magic.
Divine because it's like a curse and a ghost. Is this what all boys dream to do?
I would
Ghost
give anything.
hunting and house hunting together with
Please.
the boys?
I just need to find some boys first. I love the score in Mushoku Tensei.
Who you gonna call? Rudy and his boys.
What do you think it's gonna be? And they get to spend the night?
Sleepover.
I'm glad they didn't bring Julie. That would be dangerous.
I am so excited.
It's gonna be super strong.
Or it was a complete misunderstanding.
I'm surprised we haven't seen Elle and Elise yet. Since, you know, the ailment's cured.
Yeah. She could have been helpful here. Distracting to Cliff though, so maybe not.
Alright. Oh. A
There's
secret,
like secret
door? This just tells me that there's more square footage than even thought before.
This is like the movie Parasite.
What's the sound?
It sounds like a monster. I don't know how scared to be right now, honestly. Like, how intimidated.
Well, it's actually killed people, so it has to be substantial in some right?
The eye... Is it invisible?
Were we seeing from its point of view?
Right, I know that. I also...
Yeah, I think we
are.
were. I love how spooky this is.
What a great way to start Core 2. That's where it came out of, right?
Yeah, you can see the marks in the
mark
ground.
of it moving.
What the fuck? Those are fingers.
Oh, fuck no. I'm about to jump scare. Oh my god.
No, it went away. It's fine. It's gone. Look. Oh, what the fuck? What is it?
Oh.
It's like a spider mannequin.
It does seem like inhuman in terms of like yeah.
What the fuck?
No way.
Zenoba is
fucking scared
literally
me, dude.
a god.
Look at him like peeking out. Wait, Zenoba's realizing something. Animatronic?
God, he worked so hard. To the room first. Aw, Cliff. Of course you didn't, man.
The window glass is this. Oh my god. Repetitive architecture, I love it.
But who made it? The potential.
Oh no.
Now he sees the potential.
Mhm.
Look at, it's like runes on it. You see? Wooden.
Oh my god. No.
そんなこと言ってる場合じゃないだろうが。そんなことだ。人形が動いたのだぞ。なぜその重大さが。
Get your priorities straight, Cliff.
一体とは限りません。探して捕まえましょう。
But you also don't know about the magic that made it what it is.
なるほど、確かに。この人形がどこにいたのか徹底的に突き止めましょう。壁を開閉した跡がありますね。
Wow, well, let's go
How
in
much more
there.
space? Just a room?
It wasn't on the listing for the house, so it could be a lot of like new square footage.
やっぱり隠し扉か。
Whoa. What? You could see where it was laying.
人形のことが書いて
Wow.
あるように見えますな。
Whoa.
だけなら魔道具の魔法陣に似てなくもないな。研究成果が残っているということは、部屋の主は事故で死んだ可能性が高い。人形はあの一体だけだったようです。はい。これにて一件落着というわけだ。クリス先輩。
Oh, good, we brought the pedestal.
今回は手伝ってもらってありがとうございます。ひとまず空いている研究室を借りてそこで研究しましょうか。この動く人形の研究。世に一人
Let
しかい
him.
ないでしょうか。どうしたんだよ。急に。
He's inspired.
要は魔力総量も少なく。研究中に人形がまた暴れたらどうするんだ。多少暴れられても。
That's very true.
それはそうだろう。
Look at him carrying that whole thing.
師匠の計画が成就したとき、要は金を出しただけだったという結
Oh.
果に終わりたくはないのです。
Listen to him pour his entire heart out, Rudy.
He's been swayed.
わかった。ザノバ、お前に任せるよ。大学でお化け騒ぎとか、僕は嫌だからな。
That's fair, okay? They're bringing it into school. This murdersome, like, murderous doll into school.
Are we
We're
gonna
showing
fix it up?
Sophie.
Are we gonna fix it up?
もしかして君、こっそり情報収集とかして、事前に
Oh, I hope so.
Wow.
We already fixed it up! I knew he wouldn't just show it to her in disrepair.
Wow.
屋根の色はシルフィーの昔の髪の色に。
Oh.
That is a cute touch.
俺は結構好きだったからさ。あ、そうだね。
Wow.
That is romantic. We don't even have to hear what he's saying.
No.
Their bedroom?
2階で用意したのはこの部屋だけです。
Ah.
すごい。シルフィー。はい。こうして家を買ってはみたが、これからのことだって話し合わなければならないことばかりだ。ルディが望むんだったら。
We already knew that part.
それは俺も望むところだが。
We gotta fill this house.
アリエル王女の護衛はどうするんだ。僕らはまだあと2年はこの国に。
2 years in this country.
卒業した後もすぐアスラ王国に戻るわけじゃないんだ。シルフィーは俺に大切なものを取り戻させてくれた。朝起きたら俺を見て微笑んでくれた。そのおかげで俺は力を取り戻すことができたのだ。
That's why.
シルフィーがダメと言うなら誰がいいと言うのだ。
If she isn't good enough for me, who could be?
シルフィーは俺のものだ。はい、ルディのです。なので結婚してください。はい。シルフィーはシルフィーのやりたいようにやればいいんだ。それでお互い言いたいことがあったらきちんと話し合っていこう。
Amazing.
突然いなくなったりしないでね。約束だ。うん、約束。
They both had a little piece of hair sticking up. It's so cute.
It immediately just had like a flashback to the end of episode 12 when there was that like art, that character art of Sylphie and Rudy together. Oh my god. Okay. Okay, that was Mushoku Tensei season 2, episode 13. We're back.
We're back.
How does it feel?
It feels good. Mushoku Tensei, even if it has some like crazy things happening in it, it's still kind of a comforting world to be in. And it's like a mix of a lot of different things, like other than story. And obviously I love a magical world if I can have a magical world, especially with like love and romance. That's like a recipe that's going to make me happy. But there's something about the color palette, like the almost
Oh,
like desaturated nature of it. There's a grain on it. Everything is just very kind of calm and pleasant to the eye in terms of like just the visuals.
yeah. The animation is so unique. It's like not even just like the animation, right? It's the character design and like the pencil stroke that you'd use.
And I love the architecture of this world as well. Obviously, we've gone through a few different kind of continents and seen different places in this world that have different architecture. But there's something about the circular glass
You
in
touched
the windows that I am like, it's been a through line since season 1 to have these like circular glasses, and it's such a pretty touch because the way that it distorts the person as you're looking through it is just so beautiful, and I just love it architecturally. And to see it again, and even in this like dilapidated cursed house.
Yeah, I mean, like you touched upon it in the episode. Like, obviously, we've seen it before, but like, and that's enriching in of itself. But I
Continuity.
love the difference in architecture within the entirety of the world and how it switches depending on what region we're in and what kind of people are living there. But specifically for it to be a piece of Rudy and Sylphie's house right now and going forward, it feels like this sense of like importance and power that this old house that really hasn't been touched other than its previous owner that we don't really know anything about, it being I don't know, it feels inherently special, and because of that it feels right that Rudy's a part of that house now, you know?
You know what it also makes me think of? The first time Rudy was ever in a house that had glass like that was when he met Eris.
Mm-hmm.
That's when his kind of like curse and illness, that character is who created that curse and illness for him that Sylphie has now cured.
Yeah.
And his first instance of living in a grand house and being really a part of like the Grey Rat family and what that means in terms of politics is the architecture is there. And then how now in the story we have his illness being cured that was caused by kind of of Eris, who was like in a family of importance. And now we're working with another member of like the family tree and having like political disputes and what we're going to do to help them. We're in this similar architecture again, but now Sylphie's moving in and the home is filled with like light and happiness. And it kind of gives you this hope that if Rudy's illness can be cured and we're having this house that is a similar architecture, that we will then be able to help Ariel in the future with the political divide and dispute and kind of protect everyone in Azura.
Do you think that at some point in the series we're going to learn about who owned this house previously, who designed the doll, but it will like, I don't know, not only will we learn about who originally maybe even built this house, but like the idea of somebody who once lived who is very important, or I don't know, like prominent within the world having a hand on this house, and then the next person who's able to live in it like and be a resident more than one night being Rudy, I feel like would fit very well.
Right. What's the point of having us give a house lore if that lore isn't actually gonna like continue to be important? And I feel like we lingered on the cover of the journals.
Yeah.
And showed this like, I think it was like a dragon head or something. It's some kind of logo on the front of the journal. We're going to be deciphering the text. I feel like there's a lot there to learn about whoever this like original homeowner was.
Yeah.
And to kind of linger on the cover so that the viewer sees the cover, it almost feels like that logo or the journal cover and what it looks like is going to end up being important someday.
It's so interesting because when we bring up the page of the drawing on the book, the left side of it looks just like a human skeleton. It looks like an anatomically correct skeleton. Not only is it a skeleton though, it looks like the places that are highlighted are the internals of the person, which if we're applying it to a doll, a mechanical doll, that's incredibly interesting and makes me, I don't know, a bit unsettled,
yes,
but more curious
I could
as
go
to
somewhere like morbid and dark here in terms of the creation of this moving doll. Like Zenoba's currently going to be researching how this was created, and to see it kind of on a page next to, I didn't go with, oh, this person's studying a human anatomy and skeleton structure in order to build this thing. I went immediately in a darker direction that was kind of like, what is inside of this doll?
Yeah.
What has maybe been utilized from an actual human in order to like create this, with the fact that this is a moving doll. This is something that is like new and special.
Yeah. Like we got the line, the diagrams on their own look kind of like circles from magical implements. We got that from Cliff. And that's interesting alone for like just the doll side of things, but half the page being that body is
right. And we also have, when Zenoba asks to be the one that researches it, Rudy brings up, like, remember, someone had this hidden in their basement. That has to tell us too that like whatever this ends up actually being could be incredibly dangerous.
You're right that the logo does give dragon-esque. I wouldn't.
There's like an importance to it. It almost feels like we're supposed to be looking at what the cover of this book is so that we can maybe recognize that symbol in the future.
I don't think it would be Orsted, but part of me is
Nanahoshi's mask is kind of similar to the look of the doll.
Part of me wonders if it was something that connected to Zenoba's lineage, only because if this is kind of like a bodyguard of sorts, you'd at least want to know either the secret to turn it off or to be able to withstand its power yourself. Mm-hmm. And Zenoba obviously was. Man, when Rudy was talking to Nanahoshi about a crush, I felt so stupid after the fact when I brought up Orsted, and I'm like, I'm a fucking idiot. Of course, we've seen a flashback of the arguing, you know?
And we already know that Nanahoshi does not want to stay here and has no love for this world in terms of actually immersing herself, coming to know the people of this world or the ways or the culture. Nanahoshi has rewritten the school's cafeteria menu so that she can continue to eat the food that she always ate. Yeah. She does not want to be here. And you would think if she did have a love that was here, she would then want to kind of be a part of the world that the person she loved was a part of. But no, it makes a lot of sense. And honestly, that makes me even more sad for her. Because can you imagine that the last time you saw the person you liked, you were in an argument and you can't find them again and you're trying to get back to them? The last words you ever said to them were something in anger. Yeah. That sort of idea. Of course she wants to get back as soon as she can, or find them.
Within this world.
I
wonder if the person who created the doll came from Earth as well.
Interesting.
I know that's a reach, but and not only the fact that it's wooden, but when we're examining it, we're seeing so many joints, it legitimately reminds me of an action figure or a Gundam, or you know what I mean? There's this engineering aspect that is very similar to things that we could identify within our world. Therefore, I would think Rudy could within his own, if he was
and
more. And
he's already been making these figures and things.
But his are more silicone based because I'm used to figurines. But I wonder if if somebody had come into this world from from Earth, well before Rudy's time, if they were more well versed with, instead of figurines, it would be I don't know,
puppets something. Yeah, the action figures. I mean, there is something with the technology of the creation of the joints and stuff that does feel like something from our world that you're then putting magic onto, like with the circles.
Yeah.
So that's an interesting
Because
thing
then you
to
can
think
kind of
about.
potentially bridge the gap of like, oh, you're drawing like an accurate anatomical representation of a human. Obviously, you could get to that point within this world too, but it could lend itself to like, I don't know, a previous life on Earth with just knowing of how a human body would work. I'm so
Right,
interested.
and Rudy even brings up like the idea of we don't know what happened to the original homeowner,
Mhm.
and what if they just like something happened in an accident. This kind of question mark is opened up there of like who this person was and where they've gone. Why has this home fallen into disrepair? Why does no one live here? Who was that person, and why does it seem that no one remembers them?
Yeah.
Which is interesting.
I like that Zenoba is the person who is researching it.
Mhm.
Like it, I truly feel like there at some point within the story is going to be something learned about it, or it will be used in like Zenoba's own arsenal. Not that he would need it, but like I cannot wait to see further development with what comes from this doll. It might take a bit though.
It's sweet on Zenoba's end that obviously originally they got Juliet and Julie because Zenoba wanted to be able to create, and he couldn't do it himself. So like their first idea was, go with the like have a slave and have them be the ones learning and creating kind of on behalf of you.
Mm-hmm.
But this idea that he's like still thinking about how he can get closer and closer to being kind of the person, as Cliff brought up, this doll was kind of like it reminded him of a magical implement. So it's almost like Zenoba's now thinking of this, like this is a way I can maybe get closer to having an actual direct impact on creation. And it fits his character to want to research it then.
Man, Mushoku Tensei has one of my favorite like abilities and visual representation of that ability in in any anime. It's like the demon eye Rudy has from Kishirika,
Yeah.
like the foresight basically,
Mhm.
right? It's so cool how they show it on screen.
I agree. I like it too. And that obviously brings me to something that I'm hopeful for Core 2. I don't know if Kishirika should show up, but I love when Kishirika's around. I really like Kishirika as a character just in terms of like entertainment value.
Yeah, maybe like I feel like with Kishirika and Body Gotti and then Rudy and Sylphie, we could be like just two strong, powered married couples.
Yeah. God, we could defeat any
Anybody.
armies. Like honestly, Ariel needs to, just those four, put them on the front lines. Ariel would win.
Man,
Wipe the floor, checkmate.
that's one of the things that I'm so excited for going forward within this season and then just past that with the series, because we have such a vast like scale of time to look forward to. We have literal years before Sylphie and we are going to get politically involved with anything else, right? And then upon that happening, I could be like, oh yeah, like I really appreciate that Rudy isn't like give up your entire fucking life and just be with me. It's like keep doing what you're doing, like I'll support you. And I love that, and I can't wait to see what comes of that. But there's 2 years until then that need to be filled or were alluded to being filled with looking for Zenith. Like that was at the end of episode 12, I think.
And we brought up, the idea of reuniting with the family from the mass teleportation. I remember when we were coming to the end of Core 1 of Season 2, I at least was very strongly fearful that this, like, beautiful downtime that we were having, this we're going to school now, was gonna come to like a tragic end. I could still have that on the table, especially with Ariel reassuring that, and even Sylphie in this episode, like Ariel's episode 12, Sylphie in this episode, having kind of this reassuring nature of we have time before we have to get into the politics of it all. We have time before that. We're gonna, be here for 2 more years. We're gonna graduate, and I'm like, okay, so we're like reestablishing for the viewer that like there's time for downtime and fun and love, and we don't have to rush into the nitty-gritty of politics yet. But that does like concern me still. I was concerned at the end of Core 1. I'm now continuously being concerned a little bit here. Like, because like you said, how are we filling this time when we've been given a couple years that could be filled? And yeah, definitely a little bit concerning.
I know it won't happen again. I know that. And I would be, but that doesn't stop the irrational fear of whenever Sylphie's like, don't disappear on me, for them leaning into each other and then like snap mass teleportation again or something. Like,
we're still
shit.
Nanahoshi's still in the story. We're still working with her.
Yeah.
So there is reason to be worried that some other mass calamity could happen in this world.
I thought we might take the doll to Nanahoshi before I saw what they were gonna do, like, and what we ended up doing with it. I thought that, like, with my theory of it being potentially attached to somebody else who had been to Earth, that there was potential that it could have been, you know.
I mean, there is room just in terms of, like, learning something new, because she is studying a lot of different things and making, you know, magical circles and figuring out new ways to do things. It could be interesting for her research. I don't see a matching up point at the moment. But I do want to talk about, you know, the more sweet moments of this episode towards the end.
The roof color?
The roof color. And he's like, I know you didn't like your hair color, but I liked it. And I'm like, okay. Rudy's getting incredible points here. Sylphie was so real for the fact that she already knew about the house. I was like, no. And it's, okay, so what I want to get into with this conversation. Yes. What I want to get into with this conversation is that whole, like, kind of latter end of this episode with it just Rudy and Sylphie interacting was just showing me, like, an actual, like, couple that, like, knows each other and is like, yep, that's my girl, that's my guy. Like, he's like, haha, you already knew, right? You were spying on me. There's no resentment there. There's no, like, it's all, like, love and laughs and, like, appreciation for, like, knowing who the other person is, which obviously comes from they grew up together.
Yeah.
They have had tons of years of, like, really being friends and kind of knowing how the other person worked and knowing each other's flaws, and they're able to, like, laugh about those things. And obviously really loved that Rudy's reaction was, like, not upset at her for already knowing, and they were kind of just like he about it. And then that brings me to later in the episode. Like, if you think about what Rudy's done here, he went and bought a house without consulting his future wife. And then she's telling him, yeah, but we can't, like, there's still stuff that has to happen first. And I can't enjoy this lovely house that you made me just yet.
Can't settle down.
And he's not mad about it.
Yeah.
He's like, well, I'm here and this house is here and, you know, everything's chill. I'm not mad at you. We don't have to rush. Like, the fact that he's, like, so respectful of the fact that he's not immediately like, but I did all this. He's been fixing this house up. Yeah. Not only did he buy it, he's been fixing it, renovating it, putting money into it. A lot of people would probably be a little bit pissed that the person wasn't like, let's immediately move in. Oh my God, thank you. But he's like, oh no, dude, I get you. I did this without consulting you. Let me hear what you have to say about the things that you need to do. And then, yeah, like, I totally understand. And I was like, this is some real healthy conversation that's happening here.
It's the awareness of when he says, like, sitting on the bed, I promised to marry you, but I honestly don't know what to do, right? Like, he made that promise. He you know, asked Cliff and the rest of the lunch table, like, what the fuck am I supposed to do? What's the next step? And from Cliff's narrative, it's like, oh, this is what you should do. And Rudy does it. And he's trying his best, but he's aware that he doesn't know, and he's transparent about that. They're figuring it out together. Like, I love them together, because even though, like, their interactions together, because even though we didn't really get a lot of it in season 1 after we go to Eris, like, it has that feeling of they've known each other forever because of them knowing each other so well when they were kids.
And they have very kind of similar issues internally of not believing or dealing with issues of like believing if they were good enough or not.
Yeah.
Having like feeling insufficient, inadequate, not good enough for love, not good enough for the person that they loved.
Not good enough to be your wife.
Yeah, and this whole ending scene made me really happy because it was like, I just dialogue wise as a viewer, I was like, I feel like I'm listening to a couple dynamic that I'm going to be very happy to continue listening to because it seems like they have a mutual awareness and like of themselves, understanding of each other. They're going to try their best to communicate.
Yeah. Okay. I have two more things that I want to talk about. Letters to Paul. We talked about communicating with Paul. I wonder if that will breed like the next step in like the journey for Zenith, if that will breed any new information. We know that Paul and Geese are doing their thing, you know. What do you think? Thoughts? Potential?
I don't really know exactly what we're going to be doing because obviously there's dialogue like, Rudy, don't disappear on me again. We need to stay here for like another 2 years until we graduate. We're communicating with Paul and we're saying that we still need to find our family members, and now that we've fixed and cured our illness, we can now dedicate our time to like bringing the family all back together.
Yeah.
But I'm like, can we do that on the weekends? Like our spring break? Like
Summer.
how
will that time be divvied up?
How is the time going to be divvied up? Are we just going to go right into kind of getting the family together while still studying and going to school? I'm not quite sure how we're going to be like pacing and where the story is going to take place going forward.
My last thing was like, just to revisit it one more time, do you think that there's anything more within the house that we haven't found or don't know yet? I'm only rebringing, there doesn't need to be at all, but just the idea, if they were right that this was meant to be a deterrent to intruders, it is a very strong and severe deterrent. And if you are trying to have something like that like exist, it's either one, I don't want anybody living in my house, or two, it's protecting it from something else.
Why would you need such a powerful guard for your house if there isn't something to guard?
Yeah.
It's a fair question. Obviously, Rudy says he's only renovated as far as like one room on the second floor. There's a lot of house. There could be something in the attic. Maybe there was something else in the basement and we didn't see it, like another secret door. We know that we saw Zenoba like checking, but who knows? There could be something else here.
Yeah. I don't think there needs to be by any means.
Right.
But
It could just be the house. Like if we think about it in terms of like the sentimentality of why we're getting a house here at the end, it's the idea of it's going to be filled with family. We're going to have as many kids as you want. This is a place for us to like, oh, he's hugging her as she's standing at the kitchen sink, you know, a place that is meant to be filled with happiness and memories and laughter and safety, security, love. That it could just be that wanting to guard the house was because of like guarding the house. It was special. It was sentimental to the original owner.
I loved when Rudy was looking at the houses. He was like, well, Princess Ariel is gonna come. Yeah. And if she's coming, then it needs to be like a step up, you know?
It's so cute that like, but he brought his boys. I can't get over the beginning of this episode being like this boys ghost hunting, house hunting episode.
What a dream.
It literally was a dream.
Yeah. All right, that's all I have you.
Yeah.
Thank you guys so much for watching this video. Please like, comment, and subscribe, and we hope to see you next time.